Hi, I'm Alan Brady. You remember me from the Alan Brady Show?
Yes, if Alan needs any help.
Shut up, Mel.
Yes, sir.
Shut up, Mel.
Shut up, Mel. Yes, sir.
I had the best TV writers on my show. Rob Petrie, Sally Rogers,
Hey, I got it! Don't anybody move!
and Buddy Sorrell.
Whoa. Hey, you moved, I forgot it!
On the Dick Van Dyke Show here,
Alan, if you're...
Shut Up Mel, on Me TV.
Weeknights at 9:30, 8:30 Central on Me TV.
What's the matter with you?
Hi, I'm John Malos, and welcome to this edition of Connect with Me, live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV, Comcast 187 and 43.6 on this day. Today, we've got a special guest. We'll be talking about Huntington Boulevard and those trees, those beautiful camphor trees. They're, what, 100 years old? Are you kidding me? That's right. They're beautiful, and they're still there, and they're going to be around there for a long time. 436 Me TV, option 11. Don't wade through the message. Just hit on option 11 as soon as you hear that recording. Back with our guest in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
Glad to have back in the studio today a very special guest who is going to talk about one of the most beautiful areas in Fresno. I don't know how long you've lived in the Central Valley, but if you haven't seen Huntington Boulevard yet and you've lived here for many years, you should get out there and just take a tour. Just you don't have to walk. If you want to get out of your car, fine, but just drive. Take that 1 mile drive through that beautiful stretch and you'll see all those trees. This year is the 100th anniversary of those trees out there. Let's go to the videotape. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You know, way back in 1913, the first subdivision, well, they began building it. There's that famous sign out there, that Huntington Boulevard sign that's been there for about 10 years. Then in 1916, the first house went up. Then the trees started going up. 281 of them in all, 98 camphors, 84 palms, and many more oleanders. It is the second largest collection of trees in the entire state of California. It's a beautiful 1 mile stretch. The homes go along with the trees. You know, this is a place, Huntington Boulevard, that is famous. It's a landmark, in fact. You know, presidents like JFK, Nixon, Johnson, and FDR have all stayed in one or more of those homes along Huntington Boulevard, and there are some of those trees, and it is the celebration, the centennial, the 100-year celebration of those camphor trees along Huntington Boulevard here in southeast Fresno, not far from our studios at Ventura TV. Live in our studio now is Penny Raven, the special events chairman for Huntington Boulevard. She's here to take your phone calls and give us all the information about all the exciting events going on surrounding the centennial, the 100-year anniversary of the trees. 436 Me TV, option 11. Don't wade through the message. We're back with Penny Raven in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Glad to have in our studio once again is Penny Raven. How are you, Penny? Good to see you.
Fine, thank you, John. It's a delight to be here.
Oh, great. So we're talking about the camphor trees today.
Yes.
100 years old.
Yes.
And still counting. And they look great.
That's true. You're absolutely right. Yes. We have 98 camphor trees on Huntington Boulevard out of our 281. And there was a story on August 20th, 1910 in the Fresno Morning Republican newspaper, which was the forerunner of the Fresno Bee, about the fact that A.G. Vachon was beginning to set out the trees on Huntington, camphors, oleanders, and palm trees.
Right.
And they are still alive and beautiful and wonderful, and so that's why we are going to have the official centennial celebration of the trees on the same date, August 20th, 2013, this year at 3504 in the front yard.
All right, that's coming up soon. That's next month.
And we're going to be having signs put on the trees that tell the various varieties. We have 18 varieties of trees in all on the street, and so we're going to have signs put on the trees that tell the name of the tree. They tell the botanical name of the tree as well and the country of origin, and then we have a special message on each tree sign as well. So those will all be unveiled on our August 20th event.
What a rich history and tradition along Huntington Boulevard. There's no question about it. And, you know, I'd like to take a wild guess as to how many people live in Fresno and have been here for many years and have never taken the drive through Huntington Boulevard. You know, when you take the drive through Huntington Boulevard, you're almost tempted to just stop your car, get out and take a walk along the median, right?
Yes, that's really true. Our 1 mile is from Cedar to First Street.
Right.
And if people don't have a reason to come downtown, then they miss it. So we want to encourage them to come and enjoy our special place.
Right. It is a special place. I want to turn you to the monitor here, Penny. Okay. Still got to talk in the microphone, though. There are the trees, the collection of trees. You've got the camphors, the palms, the oleanders. They're all there, 100 years old. The question I have for you is, you know, how do you keep these trees healthy and looking so good? Is it complicated? Is it a difficult task?
Well, actually, the trees have two sets of stewards. One is they actually do belong to the city because they are in what's called the curb strip between the sidewalk and the curb. That is city right-of-way property, even though it's maintained by the homeowner. So the city takes care of the trimming, and if there's any special kind of treatment that they need, the city will take care of that, the city of Fresno. But the owner of the house is responsible for taking care of the watering and, you know, other kinds of things that it needs.
Let's take a phone call real quick. Let's keep that video up there while we're taking this call. Good morning. You're on with Penny Raven. Your question?
Austin.
Well, we'll take it later. Got to be patient there when you call in. Remember, turn down the sound on your television set when you call in. And these trees right here, obviously, it's the owner's responsibility to maintain the trees, but if something happens and a tree falls ill, then you call the city, is what you're saying.
And they trim them regularly to keep them in beautiful shape and
it's not up to
make
the owner
them be
to
healthy.
trim them, right?
No, they're allowed to if there's something that they feel is dangerous or threatening, but they are not required to.
And are the owners, are they diligent about maintaining the trees?
Oh yes, everybody loves the trees. And you know, when they were first planted, the way that was before there were even streets on Huntington, they were just lining the edge of where Mr. Wishon felt the streets would go. They had to be watered with a horse-drawn water truck.
That's amazing. And that took a lot of work, much more work than today. You just pull a hose out or put your sprinklers or whatever, you can hand water them too, not a problem. But water is the most important thing. So how do they do in this heat? You know, a few weeks ago it was 110 degrees in Fresno. Not the first time, and it won't be the last. Of course, these trees have survived 100 years. Do they do well in heat, obviously?
Yes, obviously that they do. And to make sure that we continue having beautiful camphor trees on Huntington, in 1994, our Huntington Boulevard Homeowners Historical Association purchased 41 new camphor trees and did an infill planting so that if anything does ever happen to our older ones, we have our wonderful new ones that will be remaining.
I'm going to turn you to the monitor one more time and you can explain what are we looking at here.
Okay, this is the largest camphor tree on Huntington Boulevard. It's located at 3650 East Huntington.
Amazing. Just look at the tree limbs.
It's over 21 feet around that trunk.
Yeah, just a huge tree trunk there, and it sits right on the edge near the curb.
Yes.
Is that a problem with the roots or anything?
Well, yes, of course, the roots occasionally, raise the sidewalk because the roots are so strong, but then the city will come through and redo the sidewalks for us. And several years ago, when they wished to widen Huntington Boulevard, one of the residents decided that they should talk to the city council and tell them not to widen it take the extra footage for the road off of the house side of the street, to take it instead off the median side, so that let the roots have more room.
All right, another phone call. Good morning. You're on with Penny Raven. Your question, please.
Yeah, this is Larry Clifford in Selma. I'm here watching John Malos. I've been through the Boulevard, and it's beautiful. I've been through there many times. I'm 71 years old, and I've been through there many times. And I love it.
Yeah, it's a great stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Do you have a question for Penny?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Oh, hi, Penny.
Hello.
Larry Clifford and Selma. I'm watching your show right now about the boulevard.
Great.
It is beautiful through there.
Thank you. What do you want me to tell you?
Yeah. What's your question? Quickly.
Well, that's the question. I want to let her know it is beautiful over there, and I hope they never cut the trees down.
Oh, I don't think they will.
Right.
I don't think they will.
I hope not. 'Cause like I said, I'm 71 years old, and I love it.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much. Maybe that was his question. Will they ever consider cutting any of those trees down for any particular reason? I mean,
Well, if anyone did,
there
they'd
would be a
certainly hear.
storm of protest, right?
Yes.
Now, you know, a lot of times when you buy a plant, you've got to give it plant food. Do you have to give these trees tree food?
Well, what happens is when the gardeners on the Huntington Boulevard, when the gardeners at the individual homeowners fertilize the lawns, that does something to improve the trees. That helps them. And some people may do their own. Everyone can do whatever they like, and apparently everything is working. So it's been a success.
If only the trees could talk. I knew you were going to say that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Wouldn't that be interesting? 100 years of history right along Huntington Boulevard here in the city of Fresno. Time to take a break. 436-ME-TV, hit option 11. You don't have to wade through the message. We're talking about a very historical thing here in the city of Fresno, a treasure, as a matter of fact. We need to treasure that boulevard and those trees. If you have any questions for Penny Raven, call in. We're back in a moment.
It's time to play the Hi Bob game. Simply watch the Bob.
Howard, I wanted to hear what that lady said.
As I was saying, simply watch the Bob Newhart show and count how many times people say hi, Bob.
Well, why don't we start things off?
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon.
Sorry, try again.
Darn it.
Everybody loves the Hi Bob game.
This is the greatest game I've ever seen.
Weeknights at 10:30, 9:30 Central on MeTV.
You know, during the holidays, Huntington Boulevard used to be the place to go in Fresno with all the Christmas lights and holiday traditions and everything else. That's kind of toned down a little bit, right, Penny? Slightly? It's not what it used to be.
Well, so many areas now have wonderful displays that ours wasn't quite as singular as it used to be. You know, it used to be there were just two places to go, Huntington and Van Ness, and now there are so many wonderful places.
I'm going to take another call here real quick, Penny, excuse me. Good morning, you're on with Penny. What's your question?
Yeah, good morning, John. Penny, just a couple questions. And number one, is there an association fee when you live on Huntington Boulevard? That's one. The other one's a little bigger. Christmas Tree Lane, or the Christmas tree, like the one you have on Huntington Boulevard, seems like it's kind of either, if I like to be wrong, it's kind of going downhill a little bit, and I'd like you or the organization to advertise more. I think advertising would help it a little bit, and give it a shot in the arm, because I don't hear it or see it being advertised that much. Other than maybe in a magazines might have it, or the calendar was great.
Thank
you had beautiful.
I was chairman this year for the 2013, and I'll be chairman again for 2014. So thank you. I love those kind words.
Yeah. So those are the issues. I'd like to see it really grow. Like, I guess I'm living in the past, and I know things change a lot, but I somehow it's kind of losing it a little bit. And can you talk about that a little bit and see if I'm right or wrong?
Okay. Thank you. You have two questions. The first one was about the association dues, and there at this point in time there are no association dues. The bylaws have been amended, and they say that simply everyone who lives on Huntington Boulevard is now a member of the Huntington Boulevard Association, and there are no dues. And then in the second part about Christmas, what has happened is in the past there was a board that decided that it was no longer important to maintain the Christmas tradition, and so they sold the displays that the association owned, and so now many of the homeowners who still feel strongly that they wish to have a Christmas display do their own, but there is no longer the association display and the accompanying
Will
events.
it ever come back? Will you ever bring back the displays? I know you sold the displays, but will you ever, I don't know, the rebirth of the tradition, the Christmas tradition, will that ever come back, do you think?
I don't know. It just depends on what the residents are interested in doing, and if they get behind it and want to do it, yes, it will. And if
Takes
they decide,
motivation.
yes, and if they decide to focus on our historical aspect, then that's where we will be going, and that's what we're doing with our trees.
Yeah, we got more video to show here. Let's go to the monitor one more time. We'll talk about the event coming up here and looking at another tree here, Penny, curbside. Yeah.
And see, that's the curb strip between the sidewalk and the curb. That's where the trees that belong to the city are planted and that we care for. And the tree in the background is an oleander, and probably one of the original 100-year-old ones.
Look at that. Now, how often should a tree like this be watered? Once a week? Twice a week?
It depends on what the weather is. You know, if it's hot, you're going to need more water. And then at this time of the year, they get berries on them, heavy berries on the trees, which will come off in the fall. And so if they have a lot of rain, like in the fall, when the berries are on the trees, that's when we have our most difficulty with our limbs breaking, because they get so heavy. They're full of the water and they're full of the heavy berries.
Yeah.
And so then they break.
Yeah. The homes are beautiful. They go along with the trees. It's part of the charisma of the whole boulevard.
The ambiance.
The ambiance, the ambiance of the whole boulevard. But one more piece of video, and then we'll talk about your event. Let's go to the monitor one more time. There's that famous sign, of course, now 10 years old.
Proud to say that my husband designed and built that.
Oh, that's
Larry
beautiful.
Raven.
Yeah, that's really nice. And the flowers, of course, in front. I drive by this every day coming to work, so I know this boulevard very well. And that is the First Street Monument right there behind?
Yes, that is the First Street. We have one on First Street and one on Cedar, one on each end of our mile.
Yeah, and then we're going to zoom in on it right there. What does that represent?
And then this is the trolley monument to the Fresno Traction Company had the streetcars that used to run down the street, and that's why we have the grassy median, is when they took out the tracks, then they put in the grass.
Grassy median makes me want to play a little tackle football game there on Thanksgiving Day.
It happens, in golf, all kinds of things.
Yeah, chipping. Just make sure and don't take out a few windshields while you're at it.
So true.
But
and
anyway.
At one point, the cows used to graze in the median on Huntington Boulevard in 1920.
Sure, yeah, of course.
Whatever works, right?
Why not? I mean, hey, that was a long time ago. I mean, when was the last time you saw a cow on Huntington?
Boulevard?
Yeah,
a
what
live
year?
one?
Yeah, a live cow.
Not lately.
Not lately. All right. I want to hold this up. I know you won't be able to see it that well. Let's take that two-shot over there, and I'll hold this up between me and Penny, and I'll just let you read it right there. What does it say?
This is what our signs that are going to be on our trees are going to do, and they're 4 inches by 4 inches. They're black and gold to match our lampposts and our custom street signs.
One of these will go on each tree.
Well, we're doing it only on 70 trees. There's 281, but we'll do it on 70 because you wouldn't need 98 camphor trees to each have a sign that says camphor. But they will say camphor or whatever one of the 18 varieties is. Then it will also say the botanical name of the tree and the country of origin, and it will say Centennial Celebration of the Trees, August 2013, and then there is a message line which will either be from someone who wished to be a sponsor for a tree sign, or it will be a little more information about the tree. For example, if, say, camphor has medicinal purposes, so it will say that kind of information.
Right. It's almost like each tree gets a plaque. This is like a plaque.
Yes,
is what
it is. Yes,
Let's
it
put
is.
this
It's going
down
to
real quick
look
here.
wonderful and be very informative because we have tens of thousands of people who walk on our street, and the signs are going to be on the sidewalk side of the trees, so that as you stroll down the sidewalk you can look at it and see. And we have several schools that have already requested time to do a field trip to have their children come and see the signs and learn the various kinds of trees that are there.
Right, and learn about the trees and learn about Huntington
Yes.
Boulevard. Quickly before, well, we'll do it after the break. We got to
Okay.
go to break. We'll talk about your event coming up in August. We're talking with Penny Raven. She is, let me get the official title here, okay? The official title is Special Events Chairman of Huntington Boulevard. She does a wonderful job out there trying to maintain a piece of Fresno history. And we'll show you more. 436 Me TV, option 11.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new, fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
We're here talking about Huntington Boulevard and all those trees out there, the camphor trees. There are a total of 98 of them. Beautiful. They've been around longer than you, longer than me, longer than most of us, I would say. There's 84 palm trees, and how many oleanders?
44.
44. See, you know this stuff. You've got it down to a science.
When we started this project, we have had to do a lot of research on it. That's really true.
So what's going on in August? Tell me about the event, Penny, because you're just itching to tell us about this event.
You are so right. You are so right. Okay. At 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, August 20th, and you're invited. We hope you come.
Oh, sure.
Although you have your show at that time.
I've got my show at 10, but that's okay.
We'll work it out.
right.
We'll save something special for you.
Okay.
Anyway, that will be the unveiling of the signs that will have been placed on the trees, the identification signs, and our council member, Sal Quintero, will officially declare us an arboretum in the city of Fresno. We're going to have old-fashioned strawberry lemonade and cookies, and cotton candy from Hometown Buffet. They're coming with their cotton candy machine.
Hometown Buffet is going to be there?
Yes, and they're bringing their cotton candy machine to make fluffy pink cotton for us. And then we'll have rides in antique cars, and also the city is bringing the motorized trolleys, the old-fashioned streetcar trolley that they have, to give rides also, and we'll have a Dixieland band. So it's going to be a fun time.
And it all starts August 20th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
At 3504 East Huntington, corner 5th and Huntington.
Let me ask you a question. Why is it, you see many of these places, whether it's in Fresno or outside the city of Fresno, San Francisco, if you purchase, say, a brick to, say, a monument or something like that, put your name on, okay, now you're paying $50 or $100, whatever it is per brick. Why not have something similar for Huntington Boulevard and get the Christmas theme going again? Raise some money, buy some lights, buy some, decorations, and raise some money through some charity.
Well, we have to get the residents and the board interested in doing it, and then we could. We did raise money on our tree identification project because the people who wish to put messages on them did pay $50, and they will get their name or whatever message they wanted on whatever type of tree they want and whatever location they want.
But basically, so what you're telling me goes back to what I said originally earlier. It takes motivation by the residents who live along Huntington Boulevard. Without that, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
Okay. I believe we've got a phone call. Look at this. Good morning. You're on with Penny Raven. What's your question?
Yes. What is the history of the gentleman who planned and planted the trees? How did it all begin?
Okay. It was Albert Graves Washon, and he was working for a power company in Fresno at that point in time, and they were struggling. And he learned about Henry Huntington, who had several hundred miles of streetcars, electric streetcars in Southern California. So he contacted Mr. Huntington and Mr. Huntington's fellow investor, Mr. Balch, and invited them to come to Fresno and said this new subdivision tract would be a perfect place to build showplace large homes, put an electric streetcar line down the center, put down the lamp posts, and have these beautiful homes with a lot of use of electricity. And so with that, Mr. Washon cleverly insured his job because they then made the San Joaquin Power and Light Company and appointed him president.
Little job security for him, right?
Exactly,
See, he had little foresight. He was thinking ahead. All right, another call. Good morning. You're on with Penny Raven. Your question, please. Quickly, we're almost out of time.
Oh, okay. My question is,
Pop Laval, the pioneer photographer for the valley, the chronicler of everything that's historically significant for the valley, was he a visitor to, and was he a fan of Huntington Boulevard? And would we find some of his photographs of the area?
Yes, absolutely. We have a great one of the Wishon home. I think it was taken about 1920, and it shows this electric streetcar in the front and the median, and it shows ladies in floor-length dresses getting into, and hats, boarding the streetcar. So we know, and so yes, that's one of his...
So Pop Laval did document in the early years
yes,
when the trees were first planted, of course, and throughout the years they grew taller and taller and taller. But so we've got documentation.
Yes, and we've been working with wonderful Elizabeth Laval, who was the great-granddaughter of Pop Laval, and their foundation, and getting more photos of things that are on Huntington. So it's exciting.
Turn you to the monitor one more time.
Sure.
I mentioned this earlier in the monologue. Okay. Now, some famous names have, of course, stayed in some of these homes. Now, JFK stayed here.
Yes.
Nixon stayed here. Lyndon Johnson, and who else?
Franklin Roosevelt and
Holy
Eleanor.
Cow.
That was the J.E. O'Neill home. It was built actually by the Cella family.
Well, and where's that located? It looks like a corner house there.
Corner of 4th and Huntington. And the sign that you saw just a moment ago, the street sign, is we are the only exclusively residential area in Fresno to have custom designed street signs.
Now let me ask you something. Of those presidents, how many of them stayed there while they were in office, while they were president?
I'd have to research that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I will return
Didn't mean to
with
throw
that.
you off. I'm sorry. Because I want to, like JFK, I wonder if he stayed there prior to the election in 1960 or not sure.
He
not
did
sure.
do a national news conference from there, I know, in that front room in front of the fireplace.
And I know that Pop Laval took several pictures of JFK when he was here, or at least his organization did when JFK was in town, and others.
Well, I will have to follow up on that. Stay tuned, babe. You and I are going to be back.
Well, you're going to be back on the show. You can talk about that. We'll take one more look here at another beautiful home with the hedges. What home is this, Penny?
Okay, that was originally built by Mr. Merritt, who was the owner of Sun-Made Raisins, and at that house, one of the President Hoover, yes, stayed there.
Amazing. Yeah. Boy, I just marvel at some of the architecture of some of these homes along Huntington Boulevard, and
that one was built in the mid-20s, 1920s.
Yeah, and look at that. It looks like it was built yesterday.
It's in
well
wonderful condition. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's beautiful condition, and the trees out in the front here.
And that was the magnolia to the left. That's a palm. We have two varieties of palms. That one is called a Washingtonia robusta, and then the ones that are a little fatter Mexican palm, the one you can see the top of over there, that's a Washingtonia filifemina.
All right, so there's a good mixture of trees out there. There's no question about it.
18 varieties.
And so, right. And I want to take a look at the home. We've only got a couple of minutes left. The one that Richard Nixon stayed in. We got another home now. That's where he stayed.
Yes. That was built by Paul Ashley, who was the managing director of 3 of the ice companies in Fresno, Mr. Ashley was a very involved Republican Party member, and that is why the Nixons had a reception in his home. And Mr. Ashley invented the coin-operated ice machine.
Beautiful home. There's no question about it. I almost hesitate to ask you, do you know when Nixon was there? Do you know what year approximately?
Yes.
Was it in the 50s, 60s?
1962.
1962.
September 22nd.
Right. Amazing. Wow. So, some beautiful history along Huntington Boulevard. What would you like people to take away from Huntington Boulevard if they take a drive or get out of their car and walk along the strip? What historical nugget do you want them to take home?
I want them to cherish our boulevard, realize what an important part it is as part of the base of Fresno, and it is often called the jewel in the crown of the city of Fresno, and I think that's a special thing for them to remember.
Do you think people appreciate Huntington Boulevard as much as they should? As much as they should. I'm not talking about the people who live there, but the people in Fresno, maybe even some of the newcomers that are moving into the area that don't quite know about it, but even the ones who take it for granted that have been here for a long time. Is it as appreciated as it should be?
Well, you always want anything that you like to be appreciated enormously by everyone. So that's a difficult question. But this is a
historical site,
it's
unbelievable.
Yes, I do feel that it is greatly appreciated. Any time that I mention if I'm having to give information on something,
Right.
they'll say, what is your address? And I'll say Huntington Boulevard. Instantly, they say, I love
Instant
that
respect?
street. Yes, yes.
All right.
Please do.
Penny, you are going to come back,
Thank you.
and I appreciate your time, and thank you for being here.
You are welcome.
Your time is precious, I know, and appreciate it very much. Penny Raven, she is the special events chairman for Huntington Boulevard, and glad to have her in. We're back with more of Connect with Me tomorrow, right here on Me TV Fresno. See you then.
Look at that. Isn't that a great layout? You son of a gun. This campaign is no good. No good!
Darren and Larry, the original Mad Men on Bewitched.